guys, welcome back. It's Shelby, and today I am testing out a holiday craft kind of experiment that I've been seeing going around the internet that's pretty popular. It's making little candy dishes out of peppermints. So the basic idea is that you just melt the peppermints down into a little bowl, but it looks really, really simple, like too simple, like edited simple. So I'm gonna give it a try myself, see if we can recreate some yummy candy bowls made out of candy. I will link what I use down in the description if it works, along with my socials as always, and let's get going. So the consensus is that the Market Pantry brand from Target peppermints melt the best, so I grabbed those, and you need 19 of them unwrapped to start with. You're also supposed to use a silicone placemat, but I don't have one of those, so I'm using wax paper. I think it'll turn out the same. But basically, once you get your candies all unwrapped, you're going to put one in the center and surround it by 6 candies, and then just build from there. Fill in any of the gaps so that you have a nice kind of hexagon when you're done, and that's going to be the basis of your bowl. So up next after that, we're supposed to put it in the oven, but I decided that I don't have enough candies on the tray, so I'm just adding another layer of candies around the outside just to make sure that it fits my bowl properly, because I don't want this tiny little, like, more plate disc that only goes around the edge of the bowl rather than an actual candy bowl. So I'm just adding another layer, but I think it's a good size now. So it goes into the oven at 300 degrees for roughly 8 minutes. You're supposed to watch them until they just look shiny, not melty at all. And while they're cooking, let's check out the tools. A trivet just to catch the hot tray. This is my bowl. I couldn't find one without a lip, so there's a lip on the bottom, but should be fine. Just a ceramic bowl. Okay, so I pulled them out. They're shiny, but the outsides are super melty. I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm more worried that the inside peppermints aren't even touching each other. I don't think they melted at all, but the outside ones can't be in there anymore. They're like basically liquid. Okay, so line your bowl up, basically just where you want it, and then you're going to flip the candies over so that they are laying candy to bowl side. I chickened out and sprayed my bowl with Pam just so that it wouldn't get stuck. That little lip worries me. But yeah, it's basically just line up your candies, flip them over, and then press them into place. From the backside, they actually look pretty good and melted. This is kind of hot, not gonna lie, like my hands were burning a little bit. You're gonna see them jumping off the bowl there. It wasn't terrible, but I think the silicone mat would probably help with that. The wax paper is getting in the way, so I'm going to try and peel that off as well. Only I discovered that that doesn't peel off so well. But basically just pressing the candies into place. They're pretty malleable at this point, which is nice. The outside you can see is kind of already hardened. And I can only really keep my hands on it for a moment or two, but it did come right off the bowl. I highly suggest spraying it first, and then I peeled the paper. And basically at this point is when I realized that there's a little bit of an issue. There's gapping of the paper on the back, like where the candy is, and I'm pretty sure it's the paper holding it together, not the candy. But I want to take the paper off of it because, I don't know, that's not like in the tutorial, so I'm trying to just peel it off, but discovered that one of the candies is super loose on the inside. It is not at all melted, not at all connected to the other candies. You can see it wiggling there. Like, look, it just pops right out and broke through the paper. Not what's supposed to happen. I did not press that hard either, but I am determined to make this work, so I'm going to press it back in and try to just make it work, only it's not staying. So my next plan of action is to kind of, heat it up and squeeze it in there. So what I'm actually going to do is pop that one little candy back in the oven just on a paper tray, and when it's a little bit warmer, I'm going to bring it out, pop it in, and just kind of squeeze it into place. I'm thinking it probably won't melt into place, but maybe I'll be able to expand the candy by pushing on it because it is soft, and just make it kind of like build its own frame in there by squishing over the top and the bottom, and then it'll stay exactly where I want it to. So that's the goal. And as you can see, it's not working, so that's a little bit frustrating. This was not in the tutorials, but determined to make it work, so there we go. Never mind. So yeah, back in the oven, and everything else just starts falling apart. Like, this just isn't working. Peeling off the paper, they just pulled off the mat super easy in the tutorial, and it just straight up doesn't work. Like, the candies are falling out like anything. So basically I did give it one more try. I've melted the candy. I'm trying to push it in, but it's not working. Like you can see, it's just falling apart. It's breaking apart. So I decided that the way the tutorial showed me doesn't work. I'm going to do it another way. I'm going to do it similarly, but very, very different, because basically, like, I'm just giving up on this. It doesn't work. So I've decided to completely scrap my first attempt. I kind of have an idea for how the candies melt now and an idea of how to make it work for the second one. So I'm just laying out my wax paper, and what I'm going to do is unwrap the first candy and the 6 surrounding it and pop that in the oven at 300 degrees for 4 minutes just to get those started on the melting journey. 4 minutes is like maybe gonna warm them up and soften them, but it's not at all near enough to melt them. So that's my plan. Just get those started in the center, because that was the issue, was that they did not melt enough in the center. So get those in there, and meanwhile, while those are cooking, I will unwrap my next layer. I'm just going to be doing the immediate layer around them, and then I will line those up when the first batch come out and pop all of those back in the oven for another 4 minutes. Now at this point, I'm thinking the middle ones aren't going to be melting quite as much as they did when they were only the ones in there, but they're warm. They're still going to get a little bit of heat, so I'm hoping that's going to be enough to prevent the outside ones from going completely liquid while the inside ones are still really hard. So this is going to be the candy for my third ring around. Just measuring it out there, cleaning up so that everything is set when the candies come out of the oven and we can build another layer. You can see there, they're really shiny. It's kind of hard to tell, but they're shinier and flatter. They're starting to soften compared to the layer that I'm putting around the outside edge. Those are definitely harder. They're a little bit more dull, and they're completely non-malleable. I managed to miscount, so there's one more. That's my hexagon. It's going in the oven, and it's perfect. I put it in for another 4 minutes. Look, you can see, if anything, it's the outside ones that aren't melted enough. The inside ones have all melted together. There's no gaps. Everything's touching. This is absolutely perfect. And for whatever reason, I can't figure out how to get it back on the bowl, so I'm just going to press the bowl into the center so that it's lined up perfectly. Kind of squeeze that lip in there and then flip it over from there, because I think that would be easier. Like I said before, this is still really hot. It's a little bit greasy on the bottom of the wax paper. I think, I don't know, maybe some of the Pam got on the pan or something. But you can see that it actually worked really well. Like the candies, the little stripes are all pushing in together. It's kind of exactly how I want it to be. So at this point, while it's still warm, I'm just trying to press it down. It wasn't terrible. I wasn't like burning my hands, but be careful. It is really hot. If you're doing this, you can kind of let it sit for like maybe up to 30 seconds and the candies will still be really pliable, and then come back and it'll be a little bit cooler. The outside edges do tend to cool a bit more than the bottom. I think just maybe they're like stretched more and the bottom's thicker. But whatever reason, I've got it pressed around my bowl. I'm pretty satisfied, pretty happy with how the candies melted together. I'm excited for how this will turn out. I think we figured it out. And since I've got the shape basically how I want it, it is time to peel the bowl off, peel the paper off. I ended up just leaving the original spray of Pam on the bowl, and it just popped off for everything. I didn't end up respraying it. But I want to make sure that it's a nice, good, solid shape, and peel off the paper and see what we're left with. And actually, what I'm thinking is that the paper is only coming off the parts that are bent around the edges, because there's little gaps. But the part where the candy sealed together perfectly and is basically flat on the bottom, there isn't really any gaps. Like the paper just kind of fused to it, so I can't really get that off. But you know what? I don't think that bothers me, because that's just another barrier between the candy and the counter. Okay guys, so here is the finished result. It actually turned out pretty well. The first attempt, as you saw, not so much at all, but the second attempt definitely did. It looks pretty cute. It's like a nice, cute little candy dish. The wax paper did not come off completely, but you can see where the candy kind of fused together in a really nice solid mark. You can't even see it like at all. Like you literally cannot see the paper, and I kind of actually prefer that, because nothing's gonna get sticky, because it's not candy surface on anything. So say you've like put a drink down and there's some moisture on the table and this is down there, it's not gonna melt. So I'm actually pretty thrilled about that. Yeah, I know I probably should have used the actual silicone mat, but I didn't have it and I didn't want to buy one, so I didn't. But I actually do like the idea of the paper being down. Anyway, in there also my bowl was not perfectly round, so you can see it's kind of got, there you go, you can kind of see the shadow, the little divot mark. But that being said, once I figured out the cooking method, which you saw, it worked pretty well. All I did was put the first little layer, cook that for about 4 minutes, take it out. Next ring, 4 minutes, take it out, and then cook it all together. That's how I got this. It turned out pretty well. I gotta say, it was pretty easy once I figured out the method. That first one was really frustrating though, because it seemed like it was gonna work, and then it just started falling apart, and I was like, no, I have to make you work, and it just didn't work at all. But it can be done. This is definitely like an actual really cute holiday craft, I guess hack, if you will, for making a bowl. I don't know if they consider it that, but it's made out of candy, and that's a different way of using it. So sure, why not? It's a holiday hack for making a cute little candy bowl. You can have your peppermint bowl holding your peppermints, but then you can't see them and it kind of looks like nothing's in there, but whatever, it's a really cute bowl. It's a really cute holiday dish. I'm excited to put it out. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you soon. Bye.